Welcome everyone to the virtual learning series. Today I'm very excited to have Yongling Gorke here to talk about how international experiences enhance students' career prospectus. Yongling, I'd love for you to jump in and tell us a little bit more about yourself and where you work and a little bit more about your area of expertise with this topic.
Thanks, Suzanne. Great to be here, and thank you for joining the session today. My name's Yongling Gorke, and I work in the Office of International Programs, the subunit of which is Office of Global Education and Engagement. I'm the Assistant Director of Global Education and Engagement, which is part of the overall international programs.
Fantastic. And I love this topic today. We meet a lot of students who are very interested in international experience and just how that does impact their career development. So thank you for being with us today, and we are excited for your presentation. I'll hand it right back to you.
Thank you, Suzanne, and great to be here. So I'm going to start the presentation, and the presentation overall has two parts: virtual international experience and mobility-based international experience. I'll touch base on both of them. And before that, I had the pleasure to introduce myself kind of professionally. I'd also like to introduce myself in a more personal way to you about my international journey. This is where I was born and raised, which is across the Pacific Ocean in Shanghai, China. I grew up there and finished college there before I left to another city to pursue my master's degree. You will see it has a river view that is very similar to my hometown of Shanghai. Anyone would like to take a guess? It's not in the US. Um, it's actually Liverpool in the UK. I've been a huge fan of the Liverpool football, soccer club. So that's my first international journey. And before I came to Charlotte, I've also spent time at University of Minnesota, where I studied and worked in their Office of International Programs there. So I've been in Charlotte since 2017, coming up to my 8th year anniversary. And as far as my own international experience for students are concerned, they mainly I have virtual engagement programs for at Charlotte. I've done 3 of them. I've led 4 study abroad programs in Charlotte, and overall, I have led about. I've taken over 100 people to Asia with me, mostly to China, but also to Singapore and Malaysia. This is a program that I ran in 23 and 24. This is screenshots from one of the virtual exchange courses that I taught in 2021 and 2022. So I feel that I have experience in both levels of international experience, and before I begin talking about like how these virtual experience can help students gain valuable skills, I just want you to think about international experience doesn't mean that you have to hop on a plane. I mean, we all love to hop on a plane if time and money are not a big concern. However, students, it's definitely doable to gain meaningful experience without leaving your, let's say, dorm or home or a campus in Charlotte. So to begin with, I'm going to present to you 3 short scenarios of virtual exchanges, and think about what kind of skills that you think those students engaged in virtual international experience can have. Well, before that, let me give you the definition of it. I'm using the American Association of Colleges and Universities definition to talk about virtual exchange as international experience, the umbrella term. The most common one of which is COIL, Collaborative Online International Learning, which provides students with affordable opportunities to gain global competencies with their coursework wherever they are, and also whatever department, whatever college they are. It links together students and classrooms around the world through co-taught, multicultural, and blended online coursework, bridging the physical distance between students through technological means. In Charlotte, we also have a form of COIL, which we call globally network learning, that I'm going to have slides kind of down the road if we have faculty and or staff who are interested in implementing one of the globally networked learning courses. But here's the promise cases. Case number one, it's called Pitch for Health. Imagine two groups of students, one group from the US and one group from Malawi. And through a 7-week collaboration, they form teams to create donor pitches to address the food and nutrition challenges in Malawi. And then they were able to present to potential donors in the US who are interested in international philanthropy, who can give small grants and or other financial support to address this issue. And this comes from one of the recent conferences in international virtual exchange. So the two professors working together are Jennifer Marcy from Michigan State University, who is a professor in religious studies, but is also in charge the program director of their nonprofit management online program. And then her partner, Professor Zhu Kalumisaka, and is from Malawi. So this is the first case. For those of you who are here, maybe you can type in chat or unmute yourself. Like in this virtual experience, what do you think students are gaining in terms of their valuable transferable skills? I'm gonna see if there's any chat popping in. Please feel free to unmute yourself as well.
I'll go ahead and go. I mean, so much of what we do is online already. And then I mean, practicing engaging, having a mutual love of, a passion for, that nonprofit. I mean, also the guidance from both faculty members, I think that incredibly valuable. So, yeah.
You, Maddie, that's great sharing. And I saw three comments in the chat: gain skills about how to communicate people from different cultures, how to collaborate on team through multiple time zones. Definitely, Malawi is about 7 hours different from us. Just for your information, it's on Central Africa time zone. Because I used to have a friend who lived in Malawi for 8 years, and definitely its experience with grant requests filling. So. And yours are very similar to what I have put here. First of all, I think students develop empathy. This is a quote from the student saying that it broadened my awareness of Malawi. I began to appreciate the struggle to keep children safe and well nourished and the place for women. They also are able to enhance their problem solving skills because food insecurity and nutrition challenge means something here in the US, but it may also mean something in a different country. So working with people from diverse perspective with different cultural backgrounds definitely would enrich the problem-solving process. And also self-awareness. Students become more aware. This is one of the quotes. It says, I think experience like this are what classroom really need. And I would say perhaps beyond classroom experience like this are what our undergraduate career really need. So this is the first example. Second one, also very cool. It's about bilingual books. So students at UNC Chapel Hill who are enrolled in advanced Spanish class, they work together with peers from Yucatan, Mexico to create two types of books. One is children's books and the other is cookbooks. As far as the cookbooks are concerned, the US students, they interviewed their Mexican peers, find out about the traditional recipe from the Yucatan area, and then they produce bilingual books in both English and Spanish. These were published, and the proceeds that they got are donated, all of them, to the local NGOs in Yucatan, and also a great example from our system sister school. Same here. I mean, we talk about, cross-cultural perspectives. We talk about problem solving. What are some of the additional skills that you think this bilingual book publication case have equipped students as far as their career skills are concerned? I've got chats coming in. Thank you. Keeping projects completion on time. Milestones and deliverables, definitely kind of not to have it kind of on a, and that also translates to a time management to not just finish everything in one go, but keeping that. And research, communication, and writing, definitely. Thank you. And once again, Maddie, I was so grateful that you unmuted yourself to speak. That's very nice. So, well, first and foremost, these students, they gained invaluable digital skills. So according to the professor at UNC Chapel Hill who presented on this collaborative community project, students, I mean, not everyone are born to be graphic designers or illustrators, but thanks to the generative AI, so the artwork and the book covers are actually generated by students using ChatGPT during their work. So they definitely increase their digital skills. That's one thing that's different from the previous case where they worked on grant proposals and donor pitch. They've also increased their world language proficiency as far as Spanish is concerned. As I said earlier, this is a course for advanced Spanish class at UNC Chapel Hill. And the book content was developed through course assignment. A children's book isn't a very long book, so you don't have to write like a 10, 15 page essay. However, a 4 to 6 page essay at advanced level, students can definitely do that. So and just like Patrick was saying, different milestones, deliverables at different times. So students, they created the text and then divided the text up into books, and then were able to turn that into a children's book. And finally, financial management. They learn about the publishing industry, what's the cost to publish book, how you can maximize the profit, which later then can be donated to the NGOs there. So that's the second example. We can see that the first example, we have students kind of in the social science, nonprofit management, and this one in languages. And last one isn't actually talking about students in the 4-year college yet. So raise a hand, just, you can do raise hand in Zoom. Has anyone heard of the Stevens Initiative? Okay, so I know Joe has because he introduced me to that. The Stevens Initiative is a U.S. Department initiative to honor the late U.S. Ambassador Christopher Stevens, who devoted his life to diplomacy after tragically being killed in Benghazi. So the initiative was established to promote youth understanding between US and the MENA area, MENA meaning Middle East, North Africa. So various K through 12 schools, colleges, they can apply for grants to facilitate virtual exchanges between youth of these two regions. So in this case, the Stevens Initiative's alumni, later they participated in this Global Solutions Sustainability Challenge. And you can see here, this is Nelly from the US and this is Fatima from Jordan. The two of them worked together to create a redistribution and repurposing system through a website that provides free access to customers in US and in Iraq. So for this particular one, because the challenge comes with a virtual presentation and a grant, this team is one of the, I believe, 5 teams that actually won a $2,000 grant, and they were able to get this project rolling on the ground in Iraq. So as far as the skills are concerned, they definitely have developed entrepreneurship through this virtual exchange. They have enhanced their cross-cultural understanding because these two people, although I'm not sure if they have met in person, they have developed not only true understanding, but also real friendship through this collaboration together. And then the career development. So Nellie, the student, at the time of participating in the challenge, she was attending a community college. Later, she plans to pursue a Bachelor's of Science degree in chemical engineering with a specialization in energy and sustainability. After that, and she plans to transfer to a four-year institute. So these virtual exchange not only help students kind of develop skills, but also better position themselves as far as where they want to be career-wise. So I can, go on and talk about the cool examples. And I haven't talked about UNC Charlotte examples because I can't pick favorites. I love working with all of the professors who do these virtual exchange. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna step and use some external examples. But just so you know, we also have amazing professors on our own campus in health and human services, in biology, in languages, in reading elementary education, and in business, doing these virtual exchanges. So I'm happy to spread the word for them, and if you know students who are extremely interested in international experience but may be limited for whatever reason to go abroad, let me know. Happy to point them out to those courses. So here are some kind of, once again, summary or key points as to why students benefit from these virtual international experience. First and foremost, I really want to talk about technology. We all use technology in our daily life. However, there are times when you can try the old school way of just walk down the hall, knock on someone's door, show up at their office, ask them questions, just so that I can clarify. You cannot do that in a digital world where you have to utilize technology to make sure you can find the people that you want to. And as shown in the examples of bilingual children's and cookbook, we're not just talking about using Zoom or using WhatsApp, using Padlet, these asynchronous or how do I say, not live tools, but there are also various usages of incorporating AI into the virtual exchanges. So technology and then critical thinking skills. Students, I would say, by being exposed to understanding, to different perspectives and different cultures, will then have the opportunity to reflect on their own stereotypes or own biases. Not to say that they will kind of have a 180 degrees change from someone who has only one perspective to being able to constantly shift perspective and shift behaviors. That takes, I would say, many semesters of hard work. But this is a great foundation for them before they don't have to, let's say, travel to London to talk to a private equity person in that area. They may be able to do it online. And last but not least, as far as collaborations are concerned, I really think that in virtual exchanges, if students cannot successfully collaborate with their peers, they're going to probably not get a good grade and then also not really able to meaningfully gain anything. Not to say that all virtual exchanges have successful collaborations across the borders. There are lots of pitfalls to avoid. It's for another topic for another day, but definitely keep in mind that collaborative skills are very important as far as students' career development. So these are the three, I would say, key factors to have successful virtual exchange. I mentioned about the technology. I also want to talk about partnerships and then reflection assessment. As far as partnerships are concerned, when working with international partners, I'm talking about on the faculty side, you need to consider the academics, the culture of two different institutions and two different countries, and in some cases, two different continents, as far as logistical considerations as well, working across different time zones. And if you are a student, these things can be translated to imagine you're working in a multinational team in the future. It can begin with a multinational or let's say binational team in a virtual setting. Constant reflection and using a variety of tools to assess the students' virtual learning is also an important and key to make sure that students maximize their benefits from these virtual international experiences. So here, the virtual international experience is called globally networked learning. And our Office of Global Education and Engagement, facilitates these virtual international experiences. So if you're a faculty member or staff but with teaching duties, consider doing a class-to-class collaborative online learning. We accept proposals in the fall, in the spring, and then we also support you with finding a partner if you don't have one, and then providing you with a cultural training as far as not only to you, but also to your students as well. There are other type of virtual international engagement, like virtual internships, virtual research, and virtual conference as well. So class to class, GNL is the most common one here. Those departments that I mentioned before have all implemented these GNL courses, but we're not only doing the GNL courses, we're also doing the various virtual engagement that may not involve like let's say a collaborative project for the entire 6 week, but it could be a smaller duration yet equally meaningful experience for students. So once again, this is something that our office supports, and I'd be really happy to talk to people if you are interested in know more. So I'm going to switch gear because it's about 20 minutes to talk about the study abroad impact on career development. So I'm going to quote 3 studies, and they are all they have all very large samples. So I would definitely stand by their, reliability and validity of the study. And in these, the different fields, because previously you heard about those virtual engagement examples, perhaps more on the humanities and social science field. These studies come from engineering, business, and then study abroad alumni of all majors. So first, Purdue University has conducted a study called Global Career Impact Study, in which they surveyed about 1,100 of their engineering graduates. About little over half of them have international experience during their undergraduate years. The experience length here, I put 4 to 10 months because according to the survey, that is the most common type. And once again, 4 to 10 months is also a great variation. 4 months could be as short as 1 semester, but 10 months would be an entire year. The Purdue students that they surveyed have gone abroad throughout their 4 years, but the most common one is in their junior year. Most people went to one country, some people went to 2, and a very small number went to 3 or more. And as far as their international experience types are concerned, the most 2 common types are internship abroad and semester abroad. So we look at starting salary here. The orange/salmon color are the starting salary for people who have had international experience while abroad. So you can see that overall, these are our Purdue engineering undergraduates who had international experience during their undergraduates. They have higher starting salaries compared to the groups that otherwise they didn't have. Although you'll see more spread and more likely to be in the lower salary range too. And then we look forward for another kind of moving forward 5 years. So 5 years after they graduate, what about salary increase? How many have they experienced, etc. So for all of the respondents who have worked less than 5 years, most had a 0 or 1 insignificant increase. So the comparison group most likely to have 1. The target group slightly more likely to earn 2 salary increases. So you can see that the the kind of global experience during undergraduate years not only impact your starting salary, your first job, but kind of down the road to your career trajectory as well. Moving forward, let's take a look. So this is the type of professional and then leadership experience these Purdue students have. And you can see that the orange is the target group, meaning they have international experience. The blue is non-target group. So during their undergraduate years, the target group participated in these professional and leadership experience slightly higher than their non-target group. You think if they study abroad, they may not have as time to do as much of these on-campus activities. On the contrary, they did. And then after they entered the professional field, they're also more likely to have global experience as a career professional. So here's something to keep in mind. So for mid-level management and executive C-level, you don't see as much, and it's because that the target group on average is slightly earlier than the comparison group. So, and I think it's probably because study abroad is something that progressively is making progress. So if we compare our, let's say, graduate from the most recent 5 years to the most recent 25 years, maybe 25 years ago, engineering students, they may not have had as many opportunities. So, and again, we cannot control those variables that are time bound. So just keep in mind. So this is one of the studies that one university has done as far as engineering students' global career. And the next one is about business school. So the Forum on Education Abroad is one of the nation's leading, I would say, research and advocacy organization that promotes and all kinds of study abroad opportunities. Here they use education abroad. So they surveyed 4 large business schools in public universities on the East Coast, on the West Coast, North, South. So the sample size are very big, over 7,000 students who graduated from 2021 to 2024. So out of these 7,400 students, approximately 1,600 have had some kind of education abroad. And the time that they go abroad varies kind of every year. I mean, freshman, sophomore, junior, but once again, the most common type are kind of the junior year. And then as far as I put 2 to 3 for number of experience, meaning that for students to see a education abroad as a larger, more kind of better investment payoff, those people have had 2 or 3 at abroad experience. And then it includes all types of experience. For example, if you go on a program that's led by a professor, a faculty-led program, you could go on exchange that goes for a semester or for a year. You could go on a standalone internship or a standalone study abroad program that's organized by a third-party company. So from this is something that I wanted to point out, because education abroad isn't for a student in this case. You can see that this light green bar is kind of the average starting salary for students who have had experience abroad, all the way, so from the A students all the way to the C students. You can see that although kind of the lower you go as far as GPA is concerned, the kind of the smaller effect becomes. However, I think it's a good kind of reminder to us to let our students know that you don't have to be like a 4.0 students if you want to study abroad, and especially if maybe you don't have a 4.0, maybe you only have a 2.8. Think about how you can boost your resume by considering an international experience. So this is something, and for our university, most of the GPA requirement for study abroad is 2.0. So that's one result. Another result is now that we know the salary difference exists for all type of students, whether they have a A average or B average, we can look at the difference. So this again, I mean, as someone who loves to talk about statistics, I also have to be, mindful that the sample size are not the same. So we cannot say that I don't know about the demographic. Are they exactly the same? So the report didn't say the report. So keep that in mind. But overall, the starting salary difference showing statistical significance is $4,159 difference in their first job after graduate. And that's, it's about like 6.3 differences if you look at the average 65,000 versus 70,000. So the 6.3 difference, but think about the compounding factors as you move along your career trajectory. If you started with 6% difference and with your good performances, maybe it will change and grow to be even larger. So from this, we can see that it's definitely a great investment for you as students to think about during your undergraduate years. But once again, you don't have to do a study abroad if there are other constraints. There are other options too. So the forum later, they published another report. It's called Global Learning for a Competitive Workforce. Here, they summarize kind of two of the highlights from this is the transferable skills and then the leadership capacities. So according to the report here, adaptability, communication and interpersonal skills, intercultural communication, navigating differences and creative problem solving are the skills that reported through education abroad. And here's a quote I'd like to share with you. So study abroad made me more competitive in a crowded job market, guided me toward doing work that I genuinely enjoy and am good at. And it helped me drastically improve crucial skills, especially in leadership, tenacity, problem solving, and intercultural understanding. I'm a more productive and prosperous US citizen because of study abroad. So there are many examples that I can also, personally talk about this because I've led programs in the past. So one very important message to tell students is not to just say, I've had a wonderful time, I've had a fantastic experience, but talk about how those experiences help me hone in some of my skills. And sometimes even, I would say, adversary experience can be positively reframed into a great example in your job interviews. So if you're interested, I can, talk a little bit more in the Q&A session. So moving forward, some of the key takeaways. I would say international experience, virtual, on-site, or hybrid, really provides students with not only valuable skills, but also potential to grow during and beyond their undergraduate years. I haven't talked about much of the hybrid. What I mean by hybrid is the kind of international experience that combines virtual learning with on-site learning. For example, one of the programs that I'm aware is the Charlottean Women's Choir. They are in a 5-year collaboration with one of our strong Japanese partner, Tohoku University. It started off as a virtual joint choir program in 2021. And then starting 2023, this became a 6-week GNL program in which the Japanese students and the American students, they meet online for about 2 weeks in small groups, getting to know their kind of music background as well as their personality before the Japanese students travel to Charlotte. And then while they're in Charlotte, the Japanese students engage in choir practice, social activities, as well as English language learning while they're here 2 weeks. And then after they return to Japan, the students on both sides then continue to reflect on their learning as a musician, also learning as a global citizen. So this is just one of the many examples that hybrid international experience that you can have. And as you can see here, this time I used an example from UNC Charlotte, and to know that the music through notes, which is the GNL is called, is not the only hybrid program that exists in Charlotte. So we have many other examples. So I put the two offices' physical location and general email address for you if you're interested in finding out more. So Office of Global Engagement, Education Engagement is the one that coordinates the virtual exchanges and the virtual experience and many on-campus learning that includes international components, and education abroad is the office that help students, faculty to participate in and develop programs. So these are the general contacts. I'm going to stop here, unshare my screen, and take any questions that you may have.